the deepest dark space, life eternal does spring. So enter the night and you'll find the light that will carry you to your dreams. Enter the night, let your spirit take flight, the field of infinite possibilities. So when you find that spark, when you dream in the dark, hold it close to your heart and know all that you see is all that can be when you give birth to the dreams of your soul. So enter the night and you'll find the light that will carry you to your dreams. Enter the night, let your spirit take flight, the field of infinite possibilities. On the longest night we search for the light, and we find it deep within. Open your eyes to embrace what is wise, and see the light of your own soul shine in. And enter the night and you'll find the light that will carry you to your dreams. Enter the night, let your spirit take flight, the field of infinite possibilities. Wrap up in the cloak of stony darkness, my child, and you'll find the center of all things. For from this place of the deepest dark space, life eternal does spring. And enter the night and you'll find the light that will carry you to your dreams. Enter the night, let your spirit take flight, the field of infinite possibilities. So when you find that spark, when you dream in the dark, hold it close to your heart and know all that you see is all that can be when you give birth to the dreams of your soul. And enter the night and you'll find the light that will carry you to your dreams. Enter the night, let your spirit take flight in the field of infinite possibilities. Enter the night and you'll find the light. 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 Enter the night and you'll find the light that will carry you to your dreams. Enter the night, let your spirit take flight, the field of infinite possibility. On the longest night we search for the light, and we find it deep within. Open your eyes to embrace what is wise, and see the light of your own soul shine in. And enter my child, and you'll find the center of all things. For from this place of the deepest dark space, life eternal does spring. So enter the light, and you'll find the light that will carry you to your dreams. Enter the night, let your spirit take flight, the field of infinite possibility. So when you find that spark, when you dream in the dark, hold it close to your heart and know all that you see is all that can be when you give birth to the dreams of your soul. So enter the light, and you'll find the light that will carry you to your dreams. Enter the night, let your spirit take flight, the field of infinite possibility. On the longest night we search for the light, and we find it deep within. Open your eyes to embrace what is wise, and see the light of your own soul shine in. And enter the night, and you'll find the light that will carry you to your dreams. Enter the night, let your spirit take flight, the field of infinite possibilities. Wrap up in the cloak of stony darkness, my child, and you'll find the center of all things. For from this place of the deepest dark space, life eternal does spring. And enter the night, and you'll find the light that will carry you to your dreams. Enter the night, let your spirit take flight, the field of infinite possibilities. So when you find that spark, when you dream in the dark, hold it close to your heart and know.
Welcome to First Unity Spiritual Campus and First Unity's Winter Solstice celebration. It's going to be an amazing, wonderful night of ritual, ceremony, and honoring. We will be honoring the darkest night of the year, the shortest day of the year, and welcoming in the light that will be growing each and every day to summer solstice. So thank you so much for joining us from near and far and all over the world. We are so honored that you are here with us. Thank you so much. I would like to give you a little sneak peek. At firstunity.org, we have a brand new website. You're going to love it. So take a look. After the service is over, take a look. And then I want you to grab your phone and go to the App Store if you have an iPhone, or Google Play Store if you have an Android, and download the First Unity app. It's online and live, and it is amazing. You can see what's coming up. You can keep in contact with us. It's just absolutely amazing. So go take a look at it, download it, and make sure that you click on it to allow notifications, and that way every time we go live, you will be notified. So to kick off and get started with this winter solstice celebration, we are going to cast our circle and call the quarters. So you can stand and do it with me, or you can just watch us as we do that. But we are going to start out facing in the east, which is right that way, here in the sanctuary. So we invoke God, Goddess, Lord, and Lady. We call you to our circle. To all of our ancestors, we invite you to come join with us in this celebration of winter solstice. We invite all the ascended masters and all beings of light, angelic and the collective consciousness, to come and join in our circle. And to the east, we honor the aspect life, the element air. We honor the winged creatures who fly. We call to you and invite you to this circle. May you enjoy and be with us during this sacred celebration. And now we turn to the north. Yes. And we honor the direction north. The direction north, the element earth. The four-legged and two-legged creatures. We honor you. We invite you to come to this circle, lead, guide, and protect us, and teach us as you will. And so it is. And then we turn to the west, where we honor the element water. We honor all beings of the deep. We call to you and we invite you to our circle. And so it is. And then we turn to the direction south, whose aspect is light, the element fire. We honor you tonight as you bring back the light. The creeping and crawling creatures, we honor you because we all must crawl before we walk. We walk before we run. We run before we soar high. And we call you to be part of this sacred ritual and celebration. And so it is. And then we turn back to the east, and our circle is cast. So enjoy this wonderful celebration with our beautiful First Unity voices and our First Unity dancers, Reverend Dr. Aileen Curtin, myself, Reverend Kimberley Harrell, and all our beautiful AV team who we could not do this beautiful live stream. So thank you so much and enjoy this celebration.
We invite you to share the light. On this winter's holiday, let us stop and recall that this season is holy to one and to all. Unto some a son is born, unto us comes the sun, and we know if they don't know that all paths are one. Share the light, share the light, share the light, share the light. All paths are one on this holy night. Be it Hanukkah or Yule, Christmas or solstice night, all celebrate the eternal light. Lighted tree or burning log or 8 candle flames, all gods are one, whatever their names. Share the light. Come on, y'all. Share the light. Share the light. Share the light. Share the light. All paths are one on this holy night. Be it Hanukkah or Yule, Christmas or solstice night,
And now it is my wonderful privilege to introduce to you Reverend Dr. Aileen Curtin, the Dean of Education of the Institute of Leadership and Lifelong Learning International. Reverend Dr. Aileen Curtin.
Thank you, Reverend Kimberley. And don't be too scared. I am an educator, so you've got to learn something as well. But I promise there's no quiz at the end. So I'm just going to share a few things about what exactly is the winter solstice. And the word solstice derives from the Latin, which means literally sun standing still. And so at this time of the year, which is the longest night and the shortest day, it would seem that the sun is going to disappear. That's how our ancestors saw it years ago, thousands of years ago. I'm originally from Ireland. My ancestors are Celts. And this was a very, very important time prior to Christianity and is probably one of the most common things among indigenous cultures all around the world. So I wanted to share some of that with you tonight. And though the winter solstice only lasts for, it seems like that tomorrow the days will be getting longer. In fact, there's about a 3-day period. And the ancient Celts thought that the sun was never going to come back. And so thousands of years ago, it was a period when our ancestors all across the world, particularly in the northern hemisphere at this time of the year, were very anxious and they were very concerned. Remember, this was a time before internet, before even the Farmer's Almanac, if any of you know what that is. So it was a time where the only way our ancestors knew what in fact was going on in the world was to look out into the sky, to look up at the stars, to look at the moon. And so it was a really important period of the time because our ancestors relied on the crops, they relied on the weather, and they lived their lives by the sun. The sun was very much part of their survival, and the idea that the sun could disappear was a very anxious, worrying time for them. So this is why they started to light a lot of fires. They started to light logs, and that's where the Yule log comes from. So it was a very difficult time for our ancestors in the northern hemispheres. And for me, growing up in Ireland, it really was the winter times this time of the year were very, very long. I would get up in the morning and go to school at maybe 8 o'clock. It was pitch dark. I would come home from school in the evening at around 4 o'clock. It was pitch dark. So it was a long period of winter for us. So I want you to imagine what it was like for our ancestors who did not have clocks and who had to live and look for shelter during this time of the year. So this is where the idea of birth and death came from. So because our ancestors lived by the sun, moved by the stars, and felt by the moon, they wanted to make sure that the sun was going to come back. So they lit fires, they said prayers, they did invocations to invite the sun back. And so once they saw the sun coming back and returning, it became a reason to rejoice. So the winter solstice celebrations in the northern hemispheres were always a time for great rejoicing. Lots of fires were lit, lots of bonfires. And so it was a very, very wonderful time. The other thing that happened at this time was the building of many monuments, the building of temples. Our indigenous ancestors did what they could. They thought that they could capture the energy of the sun. And where I come from in Ireland, there is an ancient structure that is over 5,000 years old, older than Stonehenge in England, where on this morning, on the winter solstice, at sunrise, the light at the exact point of sunlight, came in through a tiny, tiny window over a door and lighted up an entire burial womb and passageway. This process took about 18 minutes, and it lighted up the whole burial tomb. Many of these tombs can be found around the world, not just in Stonehenge or Newgrange. And it was our ancient ancestors' belief in rebirth and life after death. So in death and darkness was also new life. The Druids were known as the Irish priests and priestesses. And in that time, priestesses, female priestesses, had a lot of power and had a lot of respect in the community as healers. And this time of the year is celebrated greatly by Wiccans, by pagans around the world. And the mistletoe, which is something that we see a lot at this time of the year, is actually a plant that grows on the oak tree. And the mistletoe was used by the Druids, the Celtic priests, as a blessing and to ward off any evil spirits. And it was also the Druids who began the tradition of the Yule log. So the Yule is an actual tree. It grows in the Scandinavian countries, and many of the northern Scandinavian countries still do that. They go out, they find the Yule log, they cut it up, and they place it in the fireplace. And it is said to stay lit for, the Celts believe that there were 12 days of darkness, so that's where the 12 days of Christmas comes from. So you'll see that a lot of our modern day religions today are very closely interconnected with what our ancient ancestors did. So what happened then? So the Irish would like to say that St. Patrick came to Ireland in 432 and he banished all of the Druids out of Ireland. And that, in a sense, is true. He Christianized, began the Christianizing and the missionary work. But it's interesting that it was Pope Julius I who chose December 25th as the date to celebrate Jesus' birth. Because at this time of the year, around the world, the Festival of Lights, the Return of the Light, is celebrated in Africa, in India, in Asia, in many places around the world. So the idea of the light following the darkness, birth following death, the three wise men coming in search of the star, the light, are all very much tied up into the winter solstice, this time of the year. And for many of us today, as we notice the meaning, we have a lot of meanings that we can draw on the winter solstice. Yes, the winter solstice is dark. It is the longest night of the year. But without darkness, we would truly never appreciate the light. And so wherever you are, your faith or traditions, tonight we celebrate the season of going within. This is the season to light the fires and the candles all around you. And we can feel the power of the darkness to heal, to cool. And Mother Nature herself needs a time of stillness and darkness. But underneath the soil and all around us, even as we are in this midwinter point of the year, we know that underneath the ground, that nature is at her most busiest as the seeds are beginning to grow towards the light to prepare themselves for the spring. And so that is my short lecture on what the winter solstice means. Thank you.
The world waits for a miracle. The heart longs for a little bit of hope. Oh come, Emmanuel. A child prays for peace on earth, and she's calling out from a sea of hurt. Oh come, Emmanuel. And can you hear the angels singing? Glory to the light of the world. Glory, the light of the world is here. The drought breaks with the tears of a mother. A baby's cry is the sound of love. Come down, Emmanuel. Oh, here's the song for the suffering. Here's Messiah, the Prince of Peace has come. He has come, Emmanuel. Glory to the light of the world. 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 For all who wait, for all who hunger, for all who pray, for all who wonder. Behold your King, behold Messiah, Emmanuel, Emmanuel.
So we prepare now to go within, to go into the silence and the stillness within us. So I invite you now at home, wherever you are in the world, those of you here locally or far away, to close your eyes now. And just take notice of your breath and your breathing right now. Following your inhale all the way up to the top, noticing where it shifts, maybe the space between the inhale and the exhale. And as you exhale and release out, noticing that even too in our breath, there is birth and death. We have the rise and the fall. And one day we will all take our final breath, just as we took our first inhale. One day we take our final exhale. So taking this time now to just go inside, sitting in the silence, in the space that you have created, following your breath, allowing your breath to create a safe space for you to go within to the stillness and the calm and to the darkness that is within you. We need a winter in our lives. We all need a time of rest, a time to stand still, a time to reacquaint ourselves with the faith in which we live and breathe. It is only then that we can draw strength from the one in whom we are rooted. Take time to grow and rise through the darkness into the warm glow of your springtime to blossom and flourish, bringing color and vitality into this world, into your garden. And as you settle now into your breath, your inhales and maybe your slower exhalations, thank Goddess, Father God, Mother God, for the seasons of our lives. Just like every gardener knows, under the cloak of winter lies a miracle, a seed waiting to sprout, a bulb opening to the light, a bud straining to unfurl, and this anticipation nurtures our dream. So now as you bring your gaze further inside, maybe to the garden, your heart space, what are you waiting for? What are you planting and gestating right now on this winter solstice, midwinter? Noticing if there's anything in your heart space that is taking up room. Maybe you need to release and to let go so that you have room for the return of the light of the God, the goddess of your understanding. Emptying yourself out just like nature does in the winter time. Noticing the warmth and the stillness here in this place of peace. And maybe placing into the fire of your solar plexus, visualizing your Yule fire logs like our ancestors did. Maybe lighting your candle within your solar plexus and maybe placing onto the Yule log any doubts, any fears, any anxieties. Breathing it all out, knowing that you can use all of this to kindle the fire, the light that is within you. So as you draw this light now up through your body and into your heart space, may you have a warm heart and open hands, a creative mind. May you experience inspiration and brilliance, clarity and focus. May you laugh richly and deeply. May you circle and celebrate. May you change and grow. May that which is waiting to be unlocked in you be freed. And may you soar with the knowing that you are carried by a great wind across the sky. Can you see your light inside you? Can you feel your light inside you? Can you taste your light inside you? Can you hear your light inside you? Can you touch your light inside you? Can you sense your light inside you? Will you trust your light inside you, your gifts, your being, your core? True greatness lay in wait to be shared, enjoyed, and explored. And so it is. Amen.
Mistletoe, it fills the night with kiss.
Winter solstice. It's the longest night of the year, the shortest day of the year. And maybe you say, why do we come together in celebration of this time? You know, our ancestors had to live in nature in order to survive. So they were mindful of everything that happened in nature. In this modern age, in the world today, we don't have to live in nature, but we may choose to live with nature. And so the winter solstice celebration, the spring equinox, the summer solstice celebration, and the fall equinox are all celebrations that honor the turning of the earth around the sun. It marks the year, marks time, and the seasons. And now it is the season where we honor the death of the sun from fall equinox to winter solstice. The nights have become longer. The sun, the days have become shorter until now, this shortest day and longest night. And so tonight we come in celebration of that time, honoring the time that we have just spent in reflection, that time of going within, of checking in with ourselves for what we have experienced this year. It's been a challenging year and certainly a different year for almost everyone on this planet. We have experienced a pandemic like none other in our lifetime. So we've had to become a little bit like our ancestors and learn to adapt and live in nature, to learn to coexist with this and in this way. And the days have become darker. And yet we know, even on the darkest night of the year, the sun will come in the morning. So as we prepare for this celebration tonight, and we celebrate and go within, we have taken stock. We've reflected. We've learned what has served us well this year and maybe what we can cast aside, what we need to overcome. So tonight, all around the world, people will be writing down on small slips of paper what they have determined during this time of reflection is something they need to release and let go. They'll be writing that down on a piece of paper and then casting it into the fire with the Yule log so that what we need to release and let go, we physically release into the fire. The fire and the smoke will take that to the heavens as a prayer. And then the ash will return it to Mother Earth, where she will nurture it and turn it into an energy that can be used for good. Because what I may discard, someone else may pick up and use. And that's how it changes direction. So it might be something that I've decided wasn't serving me, and I need to let that go. So I write it out on my paper, cast it into the fire with the Yule log, and see it burn, and allow it to burn. And then I know that I have released it and let it go. And that may be a fervent dream someone else has of what they want to bring into their life. So that energy just exchanges. And what a beautiful thought that is on this night of winter solstice, when we have all come together to celebrate. We honor the night. We honor the darkness. For without the darkness, how can we ever love and experience the light? And then in about 3 days, as Reverend Dr. Aileen explained, the days will begin getting longer again and the nights will begin getting shorter until we reach the spring equinox, where they're equal day and equal night. And then we will move on to the summer solstice, where we will have the longest day and the shortest night. And thus we come around that wheel of the year, honoring the season, honoring that after the harvest, we've gone into reflection. Everything's been turned back into the earth, where it can be nurtured in quiet meditation, quiet resolve. And then tonight, on this night, that is the longest night, we take it and look at it and say, this no longer serves me. I throw you into the fire. I release and let go. And this is what I want more of. This is what I want to bring into my new year and the new light. So it is a death and a rebirth. And we bring it all to light come the morning. And then each day begins more and more light. And as we step boldly forward with that resolve, with that intention, we can truly create the world we have imagined ours to be. And all ritual and ceremony, it's so important in your everyday life and in your spiritual life. But ritual and ceremony only carries with it the intention you focus, the attention you put on it. So don't just haphazardly write down something on a sheet of paper and throw it in a fire and burn it. Do it with great thought, mindfulness, and intention, and you will see that serves you for your highest and greatest good. And it will give you the strength and the courage to step boldly forward into that life you have only imagined. And then tomorrow you will see that life is now yours. So tonight, honor your own burning bowl. If we weren't simply on live stream with our doors closed and our hearts wide open, we would have 2 big fire pits out there. We would have these gigantic pine cones, and you would wrap your intention around it and throw the pine cone in the fire, and we would come together in fellowship. So now I say, have your own burning bowl, and that may simply be a candle. And it is still the light. And it is still just as effective and just as big as that huge fire pit. So write your intention out of what you have come to know it is for you to release and let go. Write it out with focused intention, putting all your attention on it. Then burn it in a candle flame. Or if you can't safely have a fire, tear it up and throw it away. Tear it up and burn it and bury it in the soil. But with intention, know that you are releasing it. And when you release and let go, you make room for that wonderful life you have imagined. And it will be yours. And so it is.
On behalf of Reverend Dr. Temple Hayes, all of the ministers here at First Unity, all of the AV team, the singers, the voices, all of the people who work behind the scenes, we are truly thankful to have this opportunity to share with you. And during this time of darkness, sometimes it seems people may seem a little overwhelmed, we may seem more depressed, we may seem like we are stuck in a space where we're not going anywhere. But I'm here to tell you that we are all truly blessed. Our greatest spiritual growth is always during the darkest times. And certainly for us here at First Unity during this time of COVID, when our doors are still closed, but our hearts are wide open. Because of COVID and out of all of the darkness of that has come a new life for us. We are now able to live stream. We are able to meet, to actually connect with more people than ever before. Over 50 countries around the world, across the States. My own family in Ireland and France get to see me. And that goes for all of you here. You can connect with us on Facebook, and you can connect with us on Instagram. You can connect with us on our new website. We are feeling so blessed, and we are also so thankful for all of your continued support. Every time you write a check, every time you text to give, every time you remember your monthly tithe, you are sending a message out into the universe. Yes, I want more of this. You are telling us what you need more of. We are here to spread a positive message of Christianity, of consciousness, of all paths, all faiths, across the entire globe. And through our work at the Institute of Leadership and Lifelong Learning International, we are igniting the mission of each soul to open the heart of the world. We are so thankful and grateful that you are with us, and we thank you for your continued support and donations. Thank you.
My name is Zion. I'm the director of the Youth Expressing Spirit program at First Unity Spiritual Campus, and this is my family.
Lisi.
Mari, Mama Emma, and who's this?
Pikua.
This is Pikua, dressed up as a red-nosed reindeer.
We have a special story to share with you today. Once upon a winter solstice, written by one of our dear friends, Karma Cloud. Who's ready for the story?
Me. Mommy was me.
Every year about this time, the dreams of creatures far and wide stretch across the northern skies to weave a tale of dark and light. They remember when the fields were plush and forests lush, aflush with fruits and flowers.
And then
When in between the shades of green, the fiery light of summer beamed, blazing gold upon the crown of the summer solstice queen. After which there was a switch. All that was once warm and bright, blended with the cool tones of night, turned yellow to green, orange to red, purple into maroon is how they shed. And do you remember when, little by little, bit by bit, light allowed herself to fade until the colors of life became a new, darker shade? From that moment on, the scales did tip and light began to further slip away. Hour by hour, day by day, autumn became winter. Now the longest night approaches, so prepares the queen of winter's solstice. Cloaked in the fur of the great polar bear, holly leaves crowning her hair. From fire, from earth, from water, from air, it stirs and stirs within. And so, on this night of December 21st, we sing to awaken the earth so life may rebirth. We shower the earth with our sacred songs to encourage her to remain strong, for the darkest night is oh so long. So when you wake from your slumber, remember that once upon a winter solstice, dreams of snowflakes sparkling bright guided you through the longest night, and teaching us to grow toward the light. Everyone reach toward the light. Even through the darkest night.
A fire is burning, the long night draws near. All who need comfort are welcome by here. We'll dance 'neath the stars and toast the past year, for the spirit of solstice is still living here. We'll count all our blessings while the mother lays down, with snow as her blanket covering the ground. Thanks to the mother for the life that she brings. She'll waken to warm us again in the spring. The poor and the hungry, the sick and the lost, these are our children, no matter the cost. Come by the fire, the harvest to share, for the spirit of solstice is still living here. The fire is burning, the long night draws near. All who need comfort are welcome by here. We'll dance 'neath the stars and toast the past year, for the spirit of solstice is still living here. The spirit of solstice is still living here.
Wasn't that beautiful? And from Ireland, I want to say extra round of applause. That was so beautiful. And I just want to let you know of a few things that you need to schedule, put on your calendar that we have coming up. You know, Christmas Eve is coming up soon, so Thursday night we have for the first time, we are actually going to meet together, socially distanced as a spiritual community. We are having our special Christmas Eve candlelight service outdoors at Williams Park, which is downtown St. Petersburg. So for all of you out there locally, bring your chair, no excuses, bring your blanket, maybe bring an umbrella, be prepared. This is midwinter after all. So come on out. We have a spectacular Christmas Candlelight Eve performance that we have been planning for. So we hope that you will join us. We also have a Burning Bowl celebration that's coming up early in January that is going to help you. Remind me the date again, Kimberley, for the Burning January the 3rd, which is the perfect opportunity to start your new year, to write on your piece of paper what it is you need to release and let go. That's also going to be outdoors at Williams Park, the same venue. And then we have a spectacular Mind, Body, Spirit Expo coming up sometime in after that. January the 30th. So look at all of the things that you can look forward to. That again is going to be outdoors at Williams Park. And it's an opportunity for you to visit vendors. We normally have it here. We have speakers. We have different retail people. Forgive me, Tom, Agus Martin Des. So I went into a little bit of Gaelic. So that's what I do when I need to create a stop, when I don't know what to say next. So I just want to say, I know, it's useful. My husband doesn't know what I'm saying half the time, and he's very happy that way. So anyway, so all that to say, he's at home probably watching. So Tagragam did. So I do love you, and so thank you for everything. So we're just so pleased that you're all coming out. Check our new website, firstunity.org. You'll see many, many other events that are coming up. And so let's see what will happen and what 2021 holds for us. Thank you.
I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed. You are so blessed, you are so blessed, you are so grateful for all that you have. You are so blessed, you are so blessed, you are so grateful, you are so blessed. We are so blessed, we are so blessed, we are so grateful for all that we have. We are so blessed, we are so blessed, we are so grateful, we are so blessed. We are so blessed, we are so blessed, we are so grateful for all that we have. We are so blessed, we are so blessed, we are so grateful, we are so blessed. We are so grateful, we are so blessed, we are so grateful, we are so blessed.
We are so blessed. Aren't they amazing? Our First Unity Voices, led by Wanda, Nero, Butler. All of our AV team, thank you so much. Reverend Dr. Aileen Curtin, Katerina De Hoyos, our beautiful dancer. Alyssa and June singing the Solstice Carol. What an amazing celebration. So now all that's left is for us to close the circle and release those quarters that we called in. So, if we'll face the east again, we are going to say thank you and offer great gratitude to God, Goddess, Father Sky, Mother Earth, all of our ancestors. Thank you for joining our circle. Thank you for leading us, guiding us, protecting us. And to the east, the element air, the winged creatures. We thank you for being part of our circle. And then we turn to the north. And we say thank you to the north, to the element earth, to the four-legged, two-legged creatures on this earth. We thank you for coming to our circle and joining us in celebration. And so it is. And we turn to the west and to the element water, to all the deep sea creatures in the ocean. We say thank you for being with us in this circle. And so it is. And to the south and to the fire, we say thank you for the light. To the creepy, crawly creatures who offer us so much and teach us to crawl before we walk, walk before we run. We thank you and offer great gratitude for being here in our circle. And then as we turn to the east again, we open the circle and say thank you. And so thank you for joining us from wherever you joined us, right here in St. Petersburg, halfway around the world, or all the way around the world. We thank you so much for joining us for this winter solstice celebration. Thank you.
As we draw near to the year's end, now is the time of Mayborn, autumn is the time to descend. A woman